back at you with an all-in-one outdoor living space. This is going to be all-in-one video. It's going to be step-by-step, completely instructional, every step of the way to show you guys how to build your own paver patio, retaining wall, outdoor living space today. First things first, with all pavers, we like to excavate at least 9 inches down. Why do we want 9 inches? I want 6 inches of 3/4 inch clean for my open grade base. I want 1 inch of 3/8 stone, and then I want my paver on top. You can see everything must be hand dug. There's no machines coming back here. We're hand digging it, removing it via dumpster, and we got our first truckload of 3/4 clean delivered for our base. We'll get a second truckload for our retaining walls. They're going to be going around the entirety of this patio that we build, and it's also going to create a little bit of a play area. So all the dirt that we dig out for these walls is going to be thrown in the middle. It's going to be leveled beyond the pavers, beyond the wall, and that's going to create a mulched play area later on. Now for my walls, I like to excavate at least 16 inches. I want 12 inches of 3/4 clean base. I want 1 inch of 3/8 bedding, and I want at least 1 course of block buried. I trench out 2 feet wide for this, so I go 2 foot wide by 16 inch deep for my trench. As you can see, it's all being hand dug, keeping in congruency with the rest of the patio. We are spreading it, we're compacting it in 4-inch lifts as we go. We have the perfect trenching compactor. Now we have our Teco block. We're using Teco block Mini Creta, shale gray in color, and with an architectural cap going all the way around. This is going to be about 8 pallets of wall stone, excuse me. As you can see, you're constantly leveling as you go. We put bars in and we level the bars. We want this wall to be completely level, and we are screeding those bars as we go. That's an old retired level. People don't get your hands all up in a fit. We're screeding as we go. Those poles will eventually be removed, and then we'll be filled back in with more 3/8. We use 1 inch of 3/8 bedding. That's our bedding stone, and then we put our 3-inch block on top of that. We set it, we level it, we check plumb, level, and square as we go. There's interlocking black pieces that hold them together, but for this particular wall, we're going to be gluing every single piece. We use the open grade system. This is open grade base, open grade bedding. This is what drains water. There's no frosting, there's no heaving, there's no freezing. This is the way, this is the future, this is what the ICPI recommends, this is what Teco Block recommends, this is what we do. We do not use sand, people. Sand is a thing of the past. As you can see, I'm using my SRW Rapid Set adhesive, gluing every single course as we go. We have 1 step down so we can get into the eventual play area. We're then rock facing all of the corners to make our corners for the wall. We rock face them, and then we're going to be 45 mitering the cap once we get to that particular part. I keep my string lines in place, and I continue running onwards and upwards to this wall that is going to go the entirety of the way around the patio and to the fence line on both areas. I get the entirety of my wall set, then I go back and I re-glue everything. I want to make sure it is correct before I do all of my gluing. I can go back and fix areas if I have to post-glue, but it's a bit harder, so it's always easier to do it before the gluing process. Now I'm adding a small wall in the front. It's going to be planter in the front area, and on the side it's just matching out, so I have the same border going all the way around the entirety of the pavers. I have my 6-inch, 3/4 inch clean base entirely everywhere. I have heavily compacted it. Now I'm spreading more of my 3/4 to make sure I'm up to my right heights absolutely everywhere. There might be 8 inches of 3/4 clean at this point. That is completely fine. Now I'm compacting it the rest of the way, and I'm starting to bring in my pipes. My pipes are for screening purposes only. Even though I'm compacting everything, I go back with a hand tamper up against the walls just to make sure I got absolutely every single area. I am using 1-inch electrical conduit for my screening purposes only. I put 1 inch of bedding stone. It's 3/8 bedding stone as shown here. I put 1 inch. I do it all the way down. I have my 12-foot screed. I'm using those poles just to screed along. I screed whatever's extra. I removed. I put in the next quadrant. I go quadrant by quadrant. Now, I'm following the pitch that's on the sidewalk for the pool. So there is pitch running down this way, but that's the only pitch that's on the patio. It also is a slight pitch because there will be furniture here, and we don't want it to be shown or extreme. Now, I removed those pipes. I told you I had those pipes in for screening purposes only. They do not remain. They're not electrical conduit. They don't stay. There's no pipes running through them. There's no wire running through them. They are just there for screening. Then I pull them out. I fill back in those voids with 3/8 stone, and I begin running my pavers. My pavers are a Teco block, blue 60. It is a shale gray in color, and it is a slate in style. That means it's bumpy and it has to look like bluestone. I want no lines in here. I have some lines, but I don't want any really long lines. I want absolutely no 4 corners. 4 corners are where 4 pavers all meet and perform intersecting lines. I don't want those. I want it all broken up. I have my cuts only tucked into the wall so that you cannot see them long turn, and everything looks like it flows. They're tucked underneath those retaining walls so you cannot see them. Once I make my cuts, I put everything in. I beat them down with a dead blow hammer. Once I get everything down and everything into place, it's time to assess everything, and I look to turn my attention to my slate gray polymeric sand. The surface must be clean. First, I'm going to be pouring my concrete paver edging around the entirety of this. Now I'm getting my bags. I got about 8 bags of my Polymeric G2 Flex Lock that I'm using. It's a slate gray in color. I sweep it in. Once I get it in, I leave it so it's about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch above all of the entirety of the pavers, because I'm going to be getting my compactor with a rubber mat over the top of the pactor. I sweep them in absolutely everywhere. Then I go over, and all this does is make sure the polymeric sand gets all the way to the bottom of the joint. You want it to sink completely down so every joint is entirely full. Once it's entirely full, I'm going to add another 1 to 2 bags on top. I spread those, and then I go through it with a whitewash brush like a fine-tooth comb. I want it slightly below the paver surface, as you can see here. I want to go through it and clean and pristine all of my joint lines. Then I'm going to get my hose ready on the shower setting. I start at my lowest point, work to my highest point, and I'm going for even 30 seconds at each and every point until I'm completely dry. There will be some soap suds. Those go away long term. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.